and welcome back to Gay Fat Friend and Friends, the podcast for guests. That's right, you guys. Today, I finally have a friend to join me on Gay Fat Friend and Friends, the podcast. And the guest, the answer, will shock you. It's Rob. It is my husband, Rob. Look, if you can't use your partner to test out having guests on your podcast, then what can you use your partner for, you know? So stick around. After the first segment, we're going to have our first guest segment, and it will be my teeny tiny, adorable little husband, Rob. And we're going to talk about all things him and all things little and all things like bottom shelf. You know, anything you've ever wanted to ask a short, tiny, beautiful man. All right. First of all, let's get right into it. Today is the first day of daylight savings time, and it hit me so hard. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it hit me like this, but usually spring forward daylight savings time is my favorite time change. And again, I don't know, are we now in daylight savings time, or did daylight savings time just end and this is what it's supposed to be? And you know what? Don't tell me, because I'll never remember. I'll never know. I think I've been told my entire life. It's kind of like football. I still have no idea what a down is, and I never will. So don't try to educate me, because it's not going to take. But yeah, my whole life, like, of the two different time changes, spring forward is my favorite. And I don't know if we are currently in daylight savings time or not. But it has never hit me like this before, and I don't know what's happening. Like, it's a Sunday. We have no plans. I mean, we walk Ruby first thing in the morning, but other than that, I don't know why I'm handling this so weird. Is it just because I'm 43 and that's what happens when you're old now? Daylight savings time just ruins your weekend. It's 1 hour. You think I'd be able to handle it. And also, I know that they tried to like pass legislation to end the whole daylight savings program, but I'm pretty sure that the program would be we fall back one last time and then never change time again, which means that like the short days or like the sun setting earlier would be the permanent thing. And I don't like that. My favorite thing about spring forward is that the sun is going to stay up all night now. And, you know, in Seattle, maybe you don't know, because I didn't know until we moved here, but in Seattle, the sun stays up so much longer than anywhere else. I guess it's like a latitudinal thing. Wait, latitude, longitude, one of those. I'm not a scientist, but the sun stays up longer here. And in like June at the summer summer solstice, the sun will stay up until like 10 o'clock at night. It's crazy. I've never experienced that anywhere. And then it makes me think about like Alaska, where it'll stay light 24 hours a day. I'm like, what must that be like? Because just here in Seattle in the summer, when it stays light till like 10 p.m., I'm like, all right, I'm good. That's enough. But yeah, anyway, back to what I was saying. I kind of got sidetracked. Surprise, surprise. Seriously, daylight savings time is messing me up. But my whole life, I've preferred the spring forward. I like the longer days. And it's kind of a, you know, birds return, flowers bloom, days get longer. And I enjoy that. I like a good 7 p.m. sunset. And if they do get their like legislation shit together, which honestly, knowing our government, it probably won't ever happen. But if they do get their legislative shit together and pass that, apparently we're supposed to fall back and then never change time again. And I don't want that. I don't think you want it either. Anyway, we are now daylight savings timing, and I don't know which one it is, but happy daylight savings time to all that celebrate, aka not Hawaii or Arizona. And again, why do Hawaii and Arizona not have to do it? Like everybody else has to do it. Why don't they? And do other countries do it? Because I know it was kind of invented here in the States, right? Do other countries do daylight savings time? Are like people in Paris changing their clocks, or is it just us? Oh, that reminds me. If you're watching on YouTube, you might not hear it if you're only listening to this. But for those watching, there is a clock above my head, and I'm going to have to change it manually. I have not changed it yet. It is still in the past. I need to spring it forward so I can catch up with the time. And that's the thing. I love a clock. I have so many manual clocks in the home, and the only time it's a terrible decision is when the battery dies or when I have to change the time, because I'm going to have to change, let's see, if you include microwave, oven, all the wall clocks, all the mantle clocks, all the bedside table clocks, I'm going to have to change like 12 clocks. That's a full-time job. Where's my government kickback for that? I'm putting in all the work. They're the ones reaping the benefits with that extra hour. Anyway, we have now sprung forward, and I am very ready to move into summer because winter in Seattle is just boring. It's not sad so much. It's not so much that I hate the cold or the rain. I'm just bored. I want to go outside. This is an outside city, and I want to get into it and enjoy it. All right, moving on to everybody's favorite segment, housekeeping. This isn't so much housekeeping of something I need to correct, but I did discover something that I had talked about in the past. You may or may not remember, if you're an avid listener, that I was having trouble breathing, and I had been going to the doctor, and we kind of discovered that my asthma is back full force, and I got a whole bunch of new inhalers, and I ran a bunch of tests and had x-rays and stuff. And I had kind of just resolved myself to the fact that these were going to be my lungs now. You know, Seattle is a very damp, humid climate, a lot of mold, a lot of mildew, and my lungs just had to adjust to living in a moist climate again. Well, last week I was using the bathroom, you know, like one does. And I love a good Bath & Body Works room spray. It's like a concentrated air freshener room spray. They're amazing, and they're really good for bathrooms. Like, it's a very intense, good smell. It works quickly. 10 out of 10, highly recommend if you're trying to cover up a bad number 2 smell, right? So I've used those smells forever. And I had always noticed that when I spray that spray, I do cough a little bit. I do have, I don't know, a little bit trouble breathing in the bathroom when I spray it, but they just smell so good that I suffer through it because I love them so much. Well, last week I was like, you know what? We've been using these sprays a lot more because I kind of really got into them when we moved up here to Seattle. Back in LA, we used to use the Febreze room freshener. And so I was like, what if I just stop using these sprays? Or I should say, what if I just stop smelling these sprays after I use them and I just spray it and leave the room and don't inhale it at all? What if it's that's causing my weird lung thing? Well, ding, ding, ding. After a week of doing that, turns out it was the room sprays the whole time. It was the whole time that I was slowly poisoning myself, killing my lungs, depriving my body of oxygen because of these GD Bath & Body Works air freshening room sprays. They just suck all of the oxygen directly out of my body. It's kind of like that, you know, in Terminator 2, that fire extinguishing system where it's like the white clouds that suck all the air out of the room so fire can't breathe. I was doing that to myself, to my lungs, with the Bath & Body Works spray. God damn it! BB Dubs, all I wanted to do was love you and love your fragrances. And all you do is hurt me. It's an abusive relationship. So now I have to rethink my entire relationship with air fresheners. I'm going to have to find something new. The reason I liked them so much is because they didn't leave like a film in the bathroom. If you've used the Febreze room sprays or like the Glade ones, they're a heavy kind of wet spray. And so when you spray it, all that liquid settles. And after a few weeks, there's like a film on everything in your bathroom. So I loved the BB Dubs ones because they were, well, drying me out, choking me to death. But they were dry and didn't leave a film, and they were so concentrated and just like the best smells, like so beautiful and nice and long lasting. I'm really upset about this, you guys. I've really lost something very near and dear to my heart. But you know, I guess breathing and sustaining life and staying alive is kind of important too. Whatever. So yeah, any helpful suggestions? A lot of people have been suggesting poopery, but that's like a thing you spray in the bowl, right? Like that's not an after deucer, that's a before deucer. So I'm not really sure if that's going to make the bathroom smell nice and cover up the stinky stinks. And I really don't want to go back to the Febreze ones because, like I said, they're very wet and leave a heavy film. I don't know, I'm torn. Maybe I'll get like those cardboard car air fresheners and just put 5 of them on the ceiling, like hanging from the ceiling in my bathroom, and just, that'll be my life now. Or, wait a minute, I'm thinking in real time here, folks. What if I go back to matches? Because all through college and kind of like when I lived in New York and when I first moved to LA, I was a big strike a match person. I have a giant matchbook collection. It's one of my proudest things in the bathroom, and I never get to use them. Maybe I should just go back to striking a match. But then, you don't always want to smell match and poop. So who knows what's going to happen. And sorry, I know that I said in the first episode I would never talk about POOP. And I don't really think I am with this story because I'm not describing any like crazy accidents or anything. I'm just describing something we all do and something we all try to cover up. Okay, with a delicious smelling good spray. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, please comment down below or email me or DM me. Email me at gayfatfriend@gmail.com because I desperately need to find a replacement for my smell goods. All right, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about before we get Rob out here is this potential government ban of TikTok. I'm very torn about this. TikTok is my biggest platform. It has my largest following. It is where I produce the most content. And I do spend the most time on TikTok scrolling and interacting with other people. But I gotta say, it is my most frustrating app to deal with as a creator. My views are really low right now. I'm losing followers. I lose like 25 followers a day. TikTok loves to censor people and censor topics. Like, my name is Gay Fat Friend, and someone asked what my podcast was, and in their comments, I responded to their comments, and I said, it's Gay Fat Friend and Friends, and my comment got taken down for bullying and harassment. And I'm like, it's my name, and I spelt it right with no spaces, Gay Fat Friend, all one word. And TikTok took it down and deleted my comment for bullying and harassment because I said my name. And then other people have told me like they can't search my name because of the words gay and fat. And it's like, that's what I am, TikTok. You can't suppress me and use my words against me. I get that people use those words to bully, but like, you have to realize my screen name is Gay Fat Friend, and I'm going to use those words. And I did it without spaces describing myself. And you're going to ban my comments typing that out. So, and then there's a lot of other things like, TikTok, like I said, they don't share my content a lot. People don't see me. They allow bad things. Like I've reported actual bullying, harassment, people using terrible words, and the TikTok will send you a report back and be like, we reviewed your report and we're not taking that comment down. It doesn't go against our policies. And I'm like, really? You said a slur. That person said a slur and you're leaving that up, but I say my name and you're taking it down. So I got a email from them yesterday. Please call your representatives and tell them that you don't want TikTok to get banned. And I'm like, well, sorry, girl. Until you bring back my views and bring back my followers, I'm not helping you. Bye. Like, you're going to have to get banned because this is bullshit. You're kind of a terrible app to your creators, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm just having a really hard time with my engagement and stuff on TikTok because I'm trying to make this a full-time job and I'm putting full-time work into it. I create so much content. I spend a lot of money. That's the other thing. I was making money last year and then that stopped. So I spend a lot of time. I spend a lot of money creating content, talking to people, responding to comments, commenting on other people's stuff, sharing, liking. It's a full-time job and I make negative money. And so, yeah, maybe I'm kind of excited for TikTok to get banned. I don't know. I also have a lot of jealousy rooted in that because I see other people living my dream, creating worse content for more followers, and they get paid lots of money. And it's like, what's going on here? Why am I getting so hardcore suppressed? Why aren't I the famous one? Why aren't I on red carpets interviewing people? Is it because I'm old? Is it because I'm fat? Or is it because I'm gay? Because it's got to be one of those. Anyway, let me know what you think. I mean, TikTok is a really big time suck on my life outside of creating for it. I lay in bed sometimes for 3 or 4 hours just scrolling TikTok nonstop. So maybe it would be nice to have a break. Maybe it would be nice to ban TikTok for a while and I can get those hours of my life back. Who knows what could happen? All right, well, let's take a little break and then we'll get our very first guest out here, okay? All right, we'll be right back. All right, the time has come. My very first friend on Gay Fat Friend and Friends, episode 9. Here he is, my teeny tiny husband, Rob. Yay! Hi.
Hi.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
I feel
too.
like it's been so long. What's it been, like 15 minutes?
I did notice, as someone who is with you all the time, I noticed your absence. It was alarming.
Well, I try not to take up too much space as a 6'7" giant man, but when I leave a room, you're gonna notice. So how's your morning been? It's daylight savings time. Is that affecting you at all? I talked about it in the earlier segment.
Well, it's so funny. I always thought that in theory, I'm always like, yeah, losing an hour, blah blah blah. But like, really, it doesn't matter that much. And it is funny. The phase we're in now, where we lost an hour, is actually where everything makes more sense.
That's what I said. This is my preferred time change. I like when the days are longer.
So I guess it's strange. It's the thing that we want to get rid of that actually makes it better, but when it goes away is when it's the worst. So yeah, can we just lock it in the change forever? Because and I realize that with our latitude, we may be uniquely pissy about it.
I said the same thing.
But yeah, and I swear I was not on the other side of the door just listening. I was upstairs laying in the love sack. But yeah, hi.
Hi. What was I going to say? Oh, so I was saying earlier, and so maybe you can fact check me. I believe that the legislation they're trying to pass to end daylight savings time is that we will fall back and stay in that time.
Yeah, I believe that is the thing. The legislation would leave us in Shitstown.
Yeah.
When it comes to the winter.
So that means like the really cool, awesome long summer nights where it stays lit until like after 10 o'clock. That's not going to happen here anymore. See, that's horseshit.
Yeah, and I'm not enough of a morning person for that to matter, I think, in the summer. So I don't know.
All right. Well, Rob, give me. Oh, I love that mug. Side story real fast. Our first date was at this restaurant called Doughboys in LA, and Doughboys had a sordid past. They had health department troubles.
They had they had permits getting pulled during renovations.
Yeah.
They had a lot of bad luck, but they also did have Oprah talking about the red velvet cakes to the point where they had to start FedExing red velvet cakes across the country.
Yeah, I think it was Gail that brought the cake to Oprah, and then Oprah put it on her favorite things list. Because she was doing like a desserts across the country segment.
That was like cakes across the country.
Yeah,
or
it was like a weird
like
segment.
My favorite cakes. I don't know. It
But,
was something.
I believe Gail brought her to Doughboys for the red velvet, and their red velvet was quite delicious.
There was a reason why that's what they were known for, and
Yeah.
like massive portions, and like their bread. Well, Doughboys. It was a pun on bread,
and World War I soldiers.
But like the bread was noteworthy. It was very, very good.
Yeah, and it was on what, 3rd?
Yeah,
not too far from our apartment, and but like I said, it was our first date, and then every year we went back for our anniversary, and then we would have every Valentine's Day there too.
And I want to say, like, after one of their closures, since they had several, when they reopened is when we bought this mug, because I'm a person of like, if you take away one of my favorite places and you bring it back, I'm suddenly going to buy a mug and a menu and all of your merch.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to come every week so I can keep you open.
Yeah, we're big merch heads in this house. Like, we love a gift shop.
Yeah.
We love a merch experience. Also, I believe we bought this mug. I love, like, we're doing so much for the camera. If you're listening, Rob is holding a beautiful little mug that says Doughboys. But I believe we bought this mug when they announced their permanent final closure. That's when we got
possibly,
it.
yeah.
They were like, all right, we've gone out of business 17 times, but it's for real this time. It's going to happen. But yeah, man, I love Doughboys.
Yeah.
Miss that place.
No, I wanted to give like a talk show realness here with the mug that you don't know what's in it. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it soup?
Pure vodka.
Yeah, right?
So anyway, I wanted to do a quick little segment. You're my first guest ever. Thanks for being here.
Woo! I feel honored.
Thanks
you.
for traveling all this way. From upstairs to downstairs. But just give us a quick little elevator pitch about you, Rob Ondarza, my tiny little husband.
Oh, man.
What are you into?
Oh, geez. I'm into things.
Things and stuff.
Lots of things.
Stuff and things.
Like, honestly, I'm a big fan of collecting things.
We do have a lot of collections. We're currently sitting in front of a giant vinyl collection. We have a lot of records in this home.
I collect records. I collect video games. I used to collect vinyl toys from Kid Robot. Which,
the Dunnies.
Yeah, mercifully, that is done. Hey, need to start figuring out now how to get rid of those.
Yeah, if anybody is in the market to buy a collectible vinyl figurine called a Dunny, we have several that we are trying to liquidate.
I've got many. We have the 8-inch ones. We got the 2-inch ones, the blind boxies. There'll be lots of them.
Yeah, and they take up a lot of real estate in the home.
Help.
But yeah, we prefer not to use the term hoarder in this house because it's all worth something, and it's all clean, and it's all maintained.
Right? Yeah. We don't have garbage collections. We don't have like any. There's no cat carcasses in the collections here. And
we don't have any trash bags full of diapers in the
Right.
corner. You know.
Yeah, all the rooms in our home still work. In that, like, there's not bags of human waste blocking them.
Yeah.
And all the collections are like literally alphabetized. Like they are sorted and alphabetized.
Some things are color coded.
Yeah, like there's a system.
Everything's stored in a delicious airtight plastic bin. You know, nothing's gonna get water damaged in this home.
Everything is on some sort of internet database.
Oh, I'm noticing now. So I record this. This is our bedroom. I'm noticing now under the bed we do have an extensive poster collection.
Oh yeah,
but luckily they're in boxes.
That was a phase. That was an interesting phase. Lots of vinyl banners from movie theaters
And bars. Like we have a giant Heineken banner from a bar.
that that is from a bar. Yeah. No, the Honda one. That was from that was from a bike marathon. And I woke up to find that banner in my bed when I was in college because I was the only person in our dorms that drove an Acura. And during the middle of the night, someone on the dorm floor decided to liberate that banner, and they decided to gift it to someone with an Acura.
They were like, hey, I know that little tiny Rob guy. He would love this.
He'll know what to do with I shit you not, I think it's like a 22-foot long banner. It is so long.
We also have 2 Fight Club original banners, like movie theater. Are they vinyl?
Yeah, one has a little bit of stickum on the front of it, which is a bummer, but one is like in very nice shape.
So yeah,
if only we were teenagers.
If you're in the market for Dunnies or like long old vinyl posters from car dealerships and movie theaters.
I can see the comments now. There's a site called eBay, which
right.
is funny because that's where I bought most of the banners.
Yeah. See, the problem with eBay is that you have to do it, and that's the first step is the biggest step.
Right. Well, and I find that I'm always like, I want to give a shipping price, and it's like, no, you need to actually really have it depend on where stuff is going, especially when stuff is long or weird shaped or just big, because it's like eBay. I tend to break even on eBay between.
We always screw up on shipping.
Yeah.
Well, like that one time we we do like. The one thing we do actually liquidate or liquefy, what's the word? Liquidate? Sure. The one thing we do liquidate into cash is old records, because those are pretty easy to sell, and a lot of people will buy them. We sell them on a website called Discogs. But one time we sold one internationally, and it ended up being way more expensive than the record was worth, and like we lost money on it, all because we didn't know how to charge people the proper shipping.
Yeah, international shipping is a game I don't want to learn to play right now.
Oh wait, we did get screwed on eBay. I think it was eBay when we sold that Xbox box.
It was, it's selling a console box.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but you can sell old boxes, especially like old PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo boxes.
Well, and especially like, day one, console releases.
Exclusives.
And if your box isn't beat to hell,
but there's a market for just old empty boxes from products.
Yeah. Well, some people want them for their current console or whatever. Like some people are collectors. Some people want to do the worst kind of prank to their kids at Christmas.
Oh, I hate those pranks. First of all, I hate pranks, but those pranks where kids unwrap an Xbox box and they think they finally got it, and then inside is like a library book. Oh my God, I hate those so much.
Seriously, your kids are not going to talk to you when you're
don't
older.
Prank your kids. That's horse-shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got really screwed on that Xbox box.
Yeah, that was.
I think we ended up paying a lot of money for someone to get that box.
I think it was literally we paid a couple of dollars, but to end up in a
Negative.
less than zero situation to when we could have just thrown it away.
Well, and it's funny, I was talking about before you got here, I was talking about TikTok and the TikTok ban and stuff, and I was like, as a creator, I invest so much money. I make negative dollars from TikTok, and I'm ready for a TikTok ban. Maybe we all need a break. But like you were saying earlier, you collect a lot of stuff. The biggest thing being video games, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's because you're a super gamer.
Yeah. Well, I want to. I love games. I do. And it's funny because it used to be that I just wanted to play everything, and now I mean it's like, and that's still kind of the case. I don't feel compelled to finish everything. I do keep a count of how many games I finish every year, but that does include like easy mode. I'm not super precious about proving my gaming prowess.
And for a while, didn't you add like if you played like, I don't know, Candy Crush or something, like if you played like a really easy cell phone game?
Cell phone games counted. I mean, if I got to the credits, which I mean, it's funny this year. What we're doing some retro gaming, and there's a few where it's like, oh yeah, playing Wheel of Fortune on Sega CD. Yeah. All you gotta do is play through one game of it, and you get to the credits. So technically, we did play through that game.
Yeah.
But like whatever. I also played through all of the Soulsborne games. So
which are the hardest games known to man. I've
so
tried.
Those count too.
They look really fun because I like a third person kind of slash and grab kind of run around, beat up, shoot, kill kind of loot games. I love stuff like that. And visually watching Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, watching those games, I'm like, oh, that's right up my alley. And then you realize they use all the wrong buttons, use shoulder buttons instead of buttons. They have permadeath. You lose all your stuff. I'm like, no, these are too hard. And then the bosses are so hard. I don't know how you people do it. And they're like the most popular games.
Well, I know that I think Bloodborne was the one that had the setting that kind of captured everyone's imagination and where everyone realized that FromSoft games aren't necessarily for them.
Yeah. Torture.
Elden Ring is an olive branch. It does a lot to open up accessibility for everybody, but I mean it's a game that does try to teach you lessons the hard way, and some people don't learn that way when they play games. That's just not how people do stuff and not why they play games, which I totally get.
Yeah. I'll stick to Zelda, and Mario. Those are my go-tos.
But yeah, it's like I try to play as much as I can. And even like games, there's some games that I just don't connect with, but I will always try. I mean, there's a few games I just don't play. Like I don't play a lot of sports games, but I feel like I've gotten a pretty good idea of what a football game is going to offer me.
Yeah.
I'm willing, if you tell me something is absolutely incredibly different and new, I might give it a go. I know like what Pyre from Supergiant, that game was basically NBA Jam, but not.
Oh, that's like a fantasy sport game?
Kinda, yeah. Like the main mechanics of it is like almost like a sport type game, but it's very fantasy in that it's the same people that made Hades.
Yeah. There are so many games, you guys. Like whenever people ask what games Rob plays, I'm like all of them, and then I think about like all the sports games you don't play, all the.
Well, even like Red Dead Redemption is a game that like I've played for like 4 to 6 hours, enough for like. I can have a brief conversation about it. I can recognize why people love it. It's not necessarily for me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my thing. But for a lot of people, it is their thing. And I can talk to them about it for at least a little bit because I have some grounds to talk.
And you don't play any of the war games? I mean, you kind of played Overwatch with friends.
Yeah. Overwatch was a pure pressure game that was fun to do. And I really connected with some of the heroes.
What's the other one? It starts with a D, doesn't it?
Destiny.
I
still enjoy Destiny 2.
But
Destiny
you don't really get those like war alien like games. You don't really get super into that.
Realistic military shooters are not necessarily my thing.
Yeah.
But I do like a fantasy world, But yeah,
you don't do a lot of what are those games? Tower defense, right?
Well, I mean, like Plants vs. Zombies, I have a soft spot for, and Pixel Junk Monsters. There's a few tower defense games that are really, just like. But that was like a moment in time.
I was gonna say that was a moment in time. They had their time and place. I mean, I played Plants vs. Zombies when I first got my iPad because it was such a perfect iPad game.
Yeah. Well, and like the roguelike and the roguelite are having a moment right now, which is it's a genre I'm very much enjoying. Like all of the different kind of approaches on that one. That's been super fun.
You also like kind of accidentally did a ton of RPGs recently.
Yeah, well, it's been a big RPG year so far. Yeah, I mean, just recently there was Octopath 2, and I just finished Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. About to get into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
The Mario one.
Oh, God, yeah. Super Mario RPG Remake.
Yeah, you just like...
There's been some good ones recently.
You're like, holy shit, the last 4 games you played have been RPGs.
Well, and seriously, I will say the Yakuza series / Like a Dragon has been such a wonderful treat that I played Judgment, which is like a spin-off. And
Oh
after
yeah.
and after that, I was like, this is great. And then I played Yakuza 0 through 6 with the but then Lost Judgment whenever that came out in there, and then Like a Dragon and Man Who Erased His Name. And the new one, it's like seriously,
So many games.
It's been like double digits of the Yakuza series. It's like the new Assassin's Creed for me. It's the game where it's like I will play every entry.
Yeah,
it has been
that's how I am with Zelda.
Such a treat.
Well, and here's a little relationship advice for y'all. One of the reasons why Rob and I work so well is that he loves playing games, and a lot of the games he plays are very cinematic, and I love watching him play games. It's almost like he's my own personal Twitch streamer, and so sometimes he'll play a game for like 3 or 4 hours. I'll sit next to him, watch it while I'm also watching TikTok or playing on my Switch. And I think that's one of the reasons why we work so well.
Well, and there's been some good games for watching. Like,
yeah,
because I mean, like what you did, you sat through the entirety of Resident Evil
7.
No,
Village.
8. Yeah, because 7, you sat for part of that one, but then I did part of it in VR, and he didn't like watching my
That's
VR
the only one I don't like
monitor.
watching. Because like when you play VR, you can put it on the screen. I don't like watching someone inside VR because it moves around. It's jerky.
Yeah, it's very. You never realize how wobbly someone's head is until they got the helmet
until they're
on.
in VR, and then they have the shaky hands in front of the screen, awkwardly holding weapons.
But you watched Pancake Mode on that one, and then you watched Resident Evil 8. Well, I love that like Death Stranding was a game that like he made fun of me so much playing that game, and then you I think stayed up with me until like 3:30 in the morning to watch the extremely long ending sequence.
Very long ending sequence, but it is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen in my life.
Like seriously, that game. When
it literally is, and I'm not kidding. It is Amazon the game. Like you deliver packages around this like I don't know barren wasteland.
Well, but
it's like Iceland.
But it came out before the pandemic.
Yes.
But like it's kind of fascinating because it really is about everyone being stuck in their homes and these couriers who are the only people who are out in the wild delivering stuff. And so but like it's kind of pandemic simulator delivery system. But it's about connection. It's a game about connection in isolation, and it's weird that it came out before the pandemic.
But it's so weird too. Like it's really weird.
It's real quirky.
But it's visually one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen in my life. And
its narrative ends up like for being as like kind of overwrought and wacky and is in dire need of editing as it is, when it ends you're still just like it's so good. Yeah, and they're making a sequel that will come out within the next 5 years. I'm so excited. And a movie. A24 is involved I think in the movie.
A24, that's I think a perfect studio for that that video game franchise.
I'm into it.
All right, before we move on to our final segment, babe,
okay,
real quick, just right now, slam it on the table. What's your favorite video game?
Oh, Jesus. Why you gotta do this to me? Oh, God. I feel like...
I'm talking like Desert Island, one system, one game, rest of your life.
Whew. That's a hard one.
I mean, I think I know for you.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I would say it is probably Returnal.
Ding, ding,
right
ding.
now.
That's what I was going to say. Returnal.
Like, honestly,
game.
That game is just scratching the itches. It is so good.
I have never seen you play a game more than you've played Returnal.
Well, it's funny because I feel like Returnal is almost like my version of a fighting game. It's that thing of just like, I can see the lines of code in the Matrix. Like there's just a thing, like it clicks. But the sounds are just like the kind of sounds that just kind of scratch your inner ear, and like everything about it just kind of works. And yeah, it's a game. There's also something about a game that is known for being difficult that you are kind of effortlessly okay at.
Yeah.
Like there's something about that just to be like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, I can get through this.
Yeah.
It's not
you
a big
could
deal.
almost be like one of those blindfolded. I feel like one of those blindfolded speedrunners on Twitch.
Let's not get crazy.
That's
They
the
are
other
crazy.
Thing. We're a very big like background noise kind of household. Like something's always on the TV, and so we're really into Twitch. And I would say we put on either Elden Ring streamers or we put on Returnal streamers and just have people playing video games on in the background all day long.
Although it's funny, Returnal streamers are so hard to watch if they are not good at the game.
If they're not good, and if they have their microphone on, like
Yeah.
don't talk. Returnal, we don't want anybody talking to us.
Yeah, I just want you to be in like a magnificent fugue state of just silence,
just playing the game.
but being awesome.
Yeah.
Please, like that is so entertaining.
Well, yeah, and for you, someone who is so perfect at that game, it's hard to watch someone be bad at it.
Oh, it's so hard to watch people struggle. Like,
All right, let's move on to our final segment. What's your order? What's your order? I have here the trusty Rip and Dip, bright blue Rip and Dip shoebox.
I could have been wearing a Rip and Dip hoodie this whole time.
I mean, you have like 7.
Yeah.
I mean, this shoebox is from your shoes. But inside this box, you know, we have tons of America's favorite restaurants that I have drawn out weekly and told people what my order is. And now you're my first guest, so we get to hear what your order is too.
All right.
There's a lot of good ones still left to do in here. Yeah, so hopefully we get one that you like. And today's restaurant is Fupa Panera. That's so funny. We were just talking about this. Because
I learned a lot about Panera via this guy.
Yeah, I knew Panera was in the box because I'm from St. Louis, and Panera used to be called St. Louis Bread Company, and it still is in St. Louis.
Which is weird.
Bread Co. But when they went, national, when they franchised, for some reason they changed the national name to Panera instead of Bread Co., which is dumb because St. Louis Bread Company is the better name. Truly, it is.
No.
But it's so funny because when I was talking to Rob about being on the podcast, I told him the restaurants that were like in the box, and I was like, "Oh, do you want me to take Panera out? Because we never eat there.
Yeah.
Like we never eat there."
I have not been in years.
Yeah, there's not one conveniently close to us. Are there even any in Seattle?
No.
I think they're all in like the Burbs.
Well, and now I'm afraid to go there because their lemonade is apparently lethal. I don't know.
Their lemonade is killing people. Their portions are disgustingly small now.
They keep getting rid of people's favorite sandwiches and stuff. Like, they keep doing menu changes.
That's what they did to me. I'm about to say it.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, I was like, "Do you want me to take Panera out?" He's like, "No, I've eaten there. I have an order."
And I know what my order, and I'm pretty sure they still make all my stuff. If they don't, then we riot like this.
But who cares? It's not like we're gonna know. We don't go.
Right.
So all right, I'll go first. So my favorite sandwich of all time, and I'm talking like of restaurants, a sandwich I could eat every day for the rest of my life, was the Panera Sierra turkey sandwich. It was just a delicious turkey sandwich on their like super cheesy focaccia, and oh my God, just talking about it right now, my mouth is watering. And then I always got it with kettle chips. They also serve it with a pickle spear.
Good.
I'm sorry, Rob is like genetically opposed to pickles. He just hates pickles so much, and mustard. So if you ever meet Rob in real life, do not offer him mustard or pickles.
Please.
He'll punch you in the face.
Yeah, no.
He'll full on.
I'm the person that like, and it sounds terrible because I whenever I ask a waitress or a server in general about, the pickle status, like, because if you order a sandwich, there's like a 50-50 chance that someone's going to give you a pickle spear with it. And so I always say like, "Oh, does this come with a pickle spear?" And it sounds like now I want one.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be like, "It doesn't come with a pickle spear, does it?" Like, I don't want to be that guy. And so like, I don't want to just come out like swinging. So I'm trying to be nice. And then they're like, "No, but do you want one?" I'm like, No. Like, please do not. Like,
And then somehow it winds up on the plate.
Somehow
like,
I end up with a
"No."
pickle that never came with it in the first place. Or right to be like, they're like, "Yeah, it does." I was like, "Cool, can you just not include it?" And they're like, "Oh, do you want it on the side?" I was like, "No, just please, like, never let it touch the plate. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want it to
We've
ever
had to
existed.
send things back for even just having like a drop of pickle juice on them.
The problem is pickle juice makes everything taste like pickles.
It's pretty strong.
It is an overpowering thing, and usually next to a sandwich, it's like a sponge.
Yeah, sandwiches do love to suck up pickle juice.
Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, as a server, I waited tables for over 10 years. I've tried to tell him, just say no. Like, start the conversation with saying no pickles. And then if the server's like, "Oh, we don't serve pickles," great. Who cares?
Ding, ding, ding. Everyone wins.
And as a server, this has happened to me. When someone leads with, "Does that come with this?" in your brain, you're like, "Oh, they want that."
Well, but even then, it's funny. I mean, we talked about this just recently, randomly enough. Sometimes you shouldn't even have to say no pickles, but like pickles will show up in random stuff. Like, so when we lived in LA, the last job that I had there before we moved up here supplied dinner for you if you worked into the evening. And they passed around menus and you ordered, and it was DoorDashed or whatever. And we ordered from Cantor's Deli, one time, which was great because like that was a place that was within a couple blocks of our house. We went there all the time.
I miss Cantor so much.
Yeah, it was like a place that we knew well. And I ordered an omelet because late night, breakfast for dinner, it's where it's at. Eating my omelet, and I'm like, this tastes kind of strange, but like it's okay. But it's like something's off. I don't know what it is, but it's weird. All of a sudden, my plastic knife that I'm using to cut it in its styrofoam container kind of hits something kind of rubbery and like resistancy. And I look, there's a fucking pickle chip in my omelet.
Yeah.
And it was like I felt so betrayed. It was like, and it's like, 'cause I knew something was weird. Something was off, but like it was a long day. I was hungry. And then I was like, oh, now I know this is trash now.
Yeah.
It was such a bummer. It
definitely has ruined some restaurants for you.
Yeah.
Where like it's almost like that food poisoning thing where like the last thing you ate before food poisoning you'll never eat again. Like a restaurant can totally burn Rob for life if somehow a pickle ends up in a bite of food in his mouth.
The trust is gone.
Yeah.
Like seriously, and a pickle in a breakfast situation is just something I never expected.
Well, and for me as someone who pretty much eats everything, there's not really anything I hate besides seaweed paper, which
well, if I ended up in an omelet,
but like when we get sushi, I suffer through it unless they have soy paper. But besides that, I pretty much eat everything. So like living with, an adorable little picky eater has really opened my eyes to everything that comes with pickles in the world and mustard.
Yeah.
Wait, so that was my Panera order. What's your Panera order?
Well, there used to be a sandwich that I got because I remember getting like the half and half, sandwich and soup situation. But the sandwich did whatever it was not either they got rid of it or it wasn't compelling enough for me to keep doing it because the order ended up becoming sourdough bread bowl filled with broccoli cheddar soup.
Oh yeah.
And then and I am the person that eats the little top knot that they remove.
You dip it in the soup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I do finish the soup, and then I fold the sides of the bread bowl in to become sort of like a Crunchwrap Supreme kind of UFO thing.
Soupy, bready burrito.
Except it's real dry is the problem. I mean, it's gummy from the soup, but it's still very dry and very crusty. But I will eat that entire loaf of bread because I love bread. That is my thing.
That was the point of going to Breadco as a child in St. Louis growing up. Like every kid was like, you got to get the soup in the bread bowl because it's a bowl you can eat. Like it's so genius. They have to still have it.
Any food where you eat the vessel is honestly something special. And I know that like I think there's something about Mary kind of addresses this with like more stuff should come in cones. But like honestly, like there is something about a vessel that is eaten in that like even like a sandwich. I know that like they often come in bags or paper or whatever. But like just the fact that like when you eat a sandwich, it's just like, oh poof, it's gone. I'm magic. There's no bones left over from a sandwich. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah. If you guys still go to Panera, please let us know if they still do bread bowls full of soup. I mean, I feel like that was the foundation that restaurant was built on.
If they do, they need to change the name to something else because that is not the same business.
I will end on this. The funniest thing about Breadco my whole life, and I think they still do it, is that like if you get a sandwich, they all come with bread as a side. Like
Thank you.
Sandwich.
I appreciate that.
You get a sandwich with a side of bread. And that's, I think, your dream meal.
Oh, yeah. No, when I was in high school, off-campus pass for lunch, I ate an astonishing amount of Jack in the Box. But when I didn't do that or when I was low on money, the thing I would do is I would get a like literal liter bottle of, I guess it was a regular Coke at the time. And I would get
full octane. And
I would get literally a sourdough bowl, B-O-U-L-E, or however the hell you spell like the big bulbous bowl, from Vons, our Safeway, our local grocery store. So it was a big one. It was not meant to be used as a bread bowl. If anything, it was meant to be used as a dip bowl.
I was going to say, it's like the dip one you put.
And I would take that and I would eat that for lunch, and it took so long that I would have to eat it for usually 1, maybe 2 class periods following because it took that long to eat that much bread. But I could eat a loaf of bread within about 2 hours, and I did that frequently in high school. I love bread.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think anyone loves bread more than little Robbie Darza, except maybe Oprah.
Well,
but that's a clear tie, though.
Seriously, I mean, like because of her is why I'm going around singing about how much I love bread.
I love bread. All right. Well, we did it.
Yeah.
Babe, thanks for being my first guest.
Thank you for having me.
I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, it's fun to wander down here while you're doing this.
Yeah. So usually he hears all the screaming upstairs from the sofa, but now he's actually a part of it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I hope you had a good time. If you got any guest feedback, let me know. Don't be mean. And let us know what your Panera order is. Seriously, does anyone still eat there? I know their prices are high, their portions are low, and the lemonade can kill you.
Seriously, they become like a Four Loko type situation. I don't understand.
Panera is the Four Loko of restaurants. But yeah, I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. And we'll see you then. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.